Now up next are Broly's moves, and while 3 of them look really generic at face value, they're actually quite amazing, and I mean all of them are quite amazing. Well, we'll start with Powered Shell, because of course that's supposed to be his ranged super, and unlike Spirit Blaster, it's a bit more sensible. It doesn't give the enemy a lot of stamina back, the projectile itself is pretty damn quick, and it does a decent amount of damage. Now, while I would say it does less damage than Spirit Blaster, most likely, I haven't actually compared the damage, it's very quick and you can use it in a lot of combos, and again, unlike Spirit Blaster, it's gonna actually hurt. A unique mechanic with Powered Shell is the fact that you can actually use it as a back hit. Yes, this doesn't matter for male Saiyans, but for every other race, boom, you have a Ki Blast back hit. And if you use it as a back hit, it actually combos into itself. You can just fly up to the person afterwards and just attack them. It's actually a very, very, very good back hit. Next is Broly's Strike Super Gigantic Charge. This move takes 2 bars of Ki, and it's actually really good. Well, on Broly it's way better than it is on CACs, because again, CACs using Broly's attacks do not have super armor. They do not have super armor. So again, it's better on Broly than it is on CACs, but at the same time, CACs can use it as a knockback move much better, or a combo move, because they're smaller, so they're less likely to miss their targets, whereas Broly is big, so he kind of misses the targets a lot. What I mean is that you can just do a regular knockback and then Gigantic Charge, and it'll work most of the time. I say most of the time because you do need to charge up to get more range. And speaking of charging up to get more range, the more you charge it up, of course, the more range this move gets, as well as the more damage it gets. Now, if you fully charge this attack, it will break stamina, and I know that sounds kind of overpowered, but again, I feel like it's stronger on Broly than it is on CACs, because there's no way anyone's letting you charge this up to max on a CAC. If you charge up to an intermediate level, I guess a medium kind of stance, it won't break stamina. It's only fully charged that breaks stamina, and we don't have super armor when using it. That's unique to Broly. Now, I will say the fully charged version, the stamina break version, has as much range as you can lock on, and that sounds kind of dumb, but it's actually really cool. The next move up is Gigantic Rage, you know, everyone's favorite Broly grab attack. Again, this move doesn't have super armor on CACs, so it's actually not as overpowered as it looks, which is good. I didn't think they'd be able to balance anything in this game. Unlike most other grabs, you can actually use this one in the air too. It doesn't matter which state the enemy's in, it's kind of like Kefla's air grab. So long as someone's in a combo position, or so long as they're actually next to you when you grab, it will work regardless. It can be anything. Whereas most grabs will only work if the enemy is in a standing position. You can't use that, for example, when they're being knocked back. Gigantic Rage you can, but unfortunately it can't be comboed into. If you want to, you know, grab someone with this, you will have to vanish to the other side. You cannot combo into it. You can combo the other 2 supers, but not Gigantic Rage. I feel like that's fair, because I'd hate a situation where people could grab you from literally anywhere for anything. So it's better that, you know, you have to actually use your brain if you want to, you know, get this move off. And of course, the extraordinary moment of all of Broly's attacks, while they may not have super armor for custom characters, there is one instance where they get super armor, and to be fair, it's actually balanced very, very well. They only have super armor when you use them as an evasive. Now, yes, all of these can be used as an evasive, which is actually awesome.
Now, this is epic.
All of Broly's attacks being evasives are actually awesome, because I found different uses for every single one as an evasive, which is really, really cool. Now, I would suggest only using Powered Shell if you want to stop Limit Burst, assuming you have more than 3 bars of stamina, and you feel like you know your enemy's going to Limit Burst, which should be 99% of the people you fight. Then just have Powered Shell on the ready, have it on the ready, and when he Limit Bursts, just destroy him. Just destroy him completely. Gigantic Charge, I would suggest, is for more cheesy players, because it's going to be more effective when you're being unvanished. For example, if you get hit by a Justice combination, or you get knocked back into an Emperor's Death Beam or a final Kamehameha, quickly react by just charging your Gigantic Charge. Just have it ready. The second you get touched and you know you can't escape, charge it, alright? Because you'll surprise your enemy with them having broken stamina, because it does penetrate their super armor. It will break their super armor, and assuming they're still in the ultimate, it'll be a long stamina break. If they get out of the ultimate, it'll just be a short stamina break, depending on how many bars of stamina they have left. By the end of the day, you punish them for doing an unvanishable, which is... I welcome that. I welcome that completely. And Gigantic Rage is an evasive. I just use it for fun. I just use it whenever I want to have fun. If the enemy's like near death and I have 3 bars of stamina to throw away, I'll just use it as like it's just really fun. Okay, there's just nothing else to it. And Broly's unique ultimate is of course Gigantic Roar. Now it just looks like a regular Ki Blast ultimate at first that, you know, does lots of damage and, you know, nothing too impressive. But it's actually a single hit move, which is very good because that makes it extremely anti-limit burst. It's not like someone can wait till the very end to limit burst against it or do it in the midsection. And it also drags upwards. So if someone is falling, like let's say for example they're about to fall out of the beam or something, well I mean they can't because it only hits once. That's another perk it has over things like Super Kamehameha and Final Flash and Final Kamehameha. It only hits once. And all of the damage is in that one hit, which is great because that means, you know, people can't fall out of it. And assuming someone would fall out of it, it doesn't aim exactly forward and just miss like all of these other dumb ultimates do. It actually aims downwards and drags up, which is really, I just love that about it. It's not only does it make the move look way cooler, of course, it's actually useful online because people fall out of everything all the time, or they fall too far away or something weird like that. The beam is also extremely wide, which means if you're trying to get up from a hard knockdown, I mean, you probably can't because, yeah, even it's also unblockable. That's another reason you wouldn't be able to just get out of it. You can't just block it, it's very unblockable. I would say the best way around this move is to probably just break the person's stamina if you can, because it also follows you around. And by follows you around, I mean like the tracking on it is pretty amazing. The person using Gigantic Roar will keep turning in your direction if you try to fly away from them. So it's one of the things you can only counter by, you know, breaking someone's guard or just not being an idiot. Gigantic Roar also increases in damage the lower your health is. It doesn't increase in damage by obviously, you know, an absurd amount at first, but when you think about it, it's extremely clutch. For example, now I have a preset on that I think actually lowers my Ki Blast supers by an absurd amount. So my QQ Bang is actually really lowering my Ki supers way more than it needs to be. So when your health is lower, you can actually just get away with an amazing clutch from going from 7,000 damage to 11,000, which is really nice. No one would expect your move to just suddenly take away a health bar. Now, guaranteed that for a 5 Ki bar ultimate, it actually, if you think about it, does load damage, even when your health is lower. But at the same time, it's extremely quick and has a very low chance of failing. So I don't actually mind that, because again, Meteor Burst does more damage and Gigantic Meteor still does more damage. Of course, Gigantic Meteor is pretty slow, so if it didn't do a lot of damage, that would be kind of disappointing. I thought for Broly moves, I'd show a few online examples. Here's a good example of me using Gigantic Rage to kind of counter a Super Armor. At first I didn't notice this, but if you use Gigantic Rage after a heavy stamina break, it seems to lock the person in a heavy stamina break regardless of what they do. For example, he limit bursts here, I grabbed him, you know, I kind of expect him to limit burst, I was blocking beforehand. And when he stands up, you can clearly see he's tired for a bit before I grab him again. I didn't recognize what I was actually doing here until much later, so you'll see that clip come up. But now, here's an example of Gigantic Charge having extremely, like, just crazy distance. You can really disrespect people with this thing. They'll just think, oh, he's letting me live, what a moron. And, no, I wasn't planning to let you live. Here's an example of Power Shell being a great, you know, anti-limit burst move again, because all people want to do is limit burst, and all I want to do is stop limit burst. So, of course, I would recommend Power Shell the most because it does have a knockback shield, which, you know, would guarantee that when they come out of the animation, they are just immediately, you know, hit by it. Which is, you know, delicious. I love it. Here's another example of Power Shell. To be fair, I didn't need to use it here, but I wanted to show off Power Shell at least a bit. He throws his ultimate, he tries to get greedy, doesn't exactly work. Here's a time where I actually did need to use it, because this Gogeta was actually giving me a little bit of trouble, and I wasn't going to take the chances of him, you know, getting a sneaky one on me, let's say an unvanishable or something, so I thought, no, nothing for you. So I thought I'd hit him with it. Now here's the good example I was talking about with Gigantic Rage. I do heavy stamina break this guy here. He does limit burst, because, I mean, what else would he do, even though I'm not attacking him? I use the move here, and he's actually stunned for so long, because he's doing the tired animation. I get a second bar of Ki that I can use Gigantic Rage again. So basically what I'm saying is if you have 4 bars of Ki, you can waste someone's entire Super Armor limit burst, because now it's just gone. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm glad they actually put that in the game. that's the end of this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure to leave a like if this was informative. I mean, I'm sure it was informative because there's even stuff that I didn't know there. And subscribe if you like what you see. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.